been like a forced thing. I don't really think there was a show. So imagine if they all came back. Would you really, really, if you're being honest with yourself, wanted to have watched that? Like, what would we have watched? Honestly, we would have watched staged scenarios of Lala interacting with, Ariana and the Toms, and it just, I don't know. I mean, we've kind of had that. And it's kind of like, the further you rise, the more you shall fall. I mean, Scandival saved the show, and it was the biggest thing ever, and it breathed life into it, and everyone got huge pay raises. And I said, you guys, you got to save your money. Come on now. I mean, the difference with someone like a Kyle or a Sutton, like these guys had no money before this. So 11 years, 9 years, however many years you were on the show, I really hope they save some money. That's the key. Just because you make, $600,000 a year, trust me, it can go so quickly if you don't have a long-term game plan. Who are the winners and losers? I think obviously LVP wins. I mean, she has Vanderpump Villa, and that didn't do great. But wait, Stassi is coming to Hulu, and she has her own show on Hulu. And let's like make part of giving her own show a mandatory. She has to appear on Vanderpump Villa. A win for Lisa, a win for Hulu, a win for Stassi. She really doesn't care. She'll do that, and then she'll go on to her own show. She also has, we'll talk about Stassi in a minute, her own, the whole podcast thing. So LVP obviously wins from this. It makes no difference to her. She will be the one constant between season 11 and 12. Ariana wins. Again, if Love Island did great, she'll go back and she'll host it again. She has Broadway Macy's Day Parade. She's right here. You get paid for that. So I mean, she has opportunities. Look, I think that to me, the people that seem to, and look, I don't know what people have going on in their life. And by the way, we'll get into Jax and Doute in a second. It just shows you that whoever's on the losing list today doesn't mean that they're a loser. But to me, I don't know what Scheana and Schwartz the most. Now, Scheana has a podcast, and it's not nothing. It does decent. I mean, again, there's a podcast company. I mean, so I don't think Scheana's raking it in. I have to see how many days a week. I know the numbers on a podcast like the back of my hand because that's what I do when I do this consulting, but is she every day of the week? I mean, is it just one podcast company involved? I really have to look under the hood of the car. So she's doing possibly okay, but not like killing it. So I don't think Sheena's such a winner from this. Schwartz, I mean, I know I make fun of him, like, duh, like he doesn't even know what fucking year it is, but I truly don't know what he has going on in life. And I'm not even trying to be mean. Like, what does Schwartz do? It's a real honest question. I understand Scheana goes to a podcast studio once a week, I believe it is, and records an episode. But what does Schwartz actually do? Well, maybe he'll have a podcast, but guy, you got to show up and talk. So let's get back to Schwartz. I think Schwartz is one of the losers of this. I think Scheana is one of the losers of this. And Katie, look, something about her, I mean, everyone says is doing well, and I think there's still a line up the door. Okay, great. I don't think Katie's such winning from this. It's like, look, it's a hard business. Schwartz and Sandy's is closing. So there's that. It's a hard business. And I mean, at first I was like, Schwartz and Sandy's is closing. Okay. And then I read somewhere that Tom invested $1 million. I really hope it's $1 million total and it's only $500,000 of their own money. Like, people want me to invest in things all the time, and I say no. Like investing in something other than myself and sitting here, but I've always done the other company I had before this was very little startup. I love an investment opportunity with little startup costs, or I love something like a Skinny Girl or something that I just get it. Like I see the branding, I see the marketing, it solves a problem in the marketplace. Other than that, I mean, everyone wants to have their own soiree and this and that and Pinot Grigio and a book deal and all of that. No, my advice would be like, you want your own wine line? No. You want to write a book? No. Unless you get a huge advance to write a book, forget it. There's no money in fucking writing a damn book. Like, yes, I think Stassi made money, but it's very, very hard. So I just think all these things that sound fun and I'm going to do this. And I say no. I say no to any business idea or most of them. Keep your fucking head down and just save and just figure out how to work. So It's a hard business. Schwartz and Sandy's is closing. The sandwich shop seems to be doing okay. That's great. Will it be doing okay in 5 years when there's no Vanderpump Rules on? I don't know. It has to have a true base beyond star power of Ariana and Katie. It has to. It can't just be that Ariana owns this. I mean, Lance Bass owns Rocco's in West Hollywood, which actually does pretty well, that bar. But that's not the point. The point is there's a lot of celebrity owned things. There has to be something more about it. So the sandwich shop is doing okay now. I don't think you should go out and buy no house, Katie. Just keep it tight, girl. Like, where's the plan in this? So I don't know if Katie's such a winner from this either. Lala, I mean, her podcast does better than Katie's podcast and does better than Scheana's podcast. So there's the good news. Give them Lala, and there's no shade to this. I don't know. Is Give Them Lala still a thing? Lala Beauty? Are those still a thing? Because if so, then that's great. I just don't know. Like, I don't really ever hear, but Give Them Lala, that to me is like a brand. It's something that's been around. So maybe that can lead to something. So now I'm moving into the like, I did winners with like LVP and Ariana. Schwartz, Katie, and Scheana, I worry about the most. And then in between, I would put Lala because this is a brand that's existed for a while. James, I mean, look, DJing, you can make a lot of money. I mean, James wasn't doing huge gigs, but he was working. He is working. He does get booked. Opening for Paulie D ain't bad. I mean, at least there's a career there where you can go. It's not like a sandwich shop or a bar that could just suck away. I mean, everything James does is profit, right? They fly you out, they put you up in a hotel. So that's good. There's a lot of DJs out there, bro. So, it's not like James and Lala are on easy street, but I think there's something there. And Tom Sandoval, again, I don't know being off a show how all this will last, but I've seen Tom Sandoval in the most extras. It's a real thing. People go. I said this when Scandal happened. I'm like, give me a break. If you live in like Wichita, wherever that is, and Kalamazoo, Michigan, in the middle of nowhere, and Tom Sandoval comes to your house, hometown, you mean to tell me you're not going to go? Someone slipped into my DMs months later. You were right. I hate the guy. He's down the street at my local, whatever. I'm going. So, I mean, Tom is something, again, not giving him too much credit. So, I think really everybody loses except for Ariana and LVP, but I think there's mild degrees of that. Things change in this business all the time. Who would have thought that Jax and Kristen Doute would be, you know what? Man, this is a quick hit, but should this be a